Let's transform this tiny John boat. If you don't know my friend Tricktins, he's a professional welder and fabricator that pours his heart into every single boat he upgrades. He's created everything from a jet boat to stuff like this. I'm speechless. Last year he went and took my precious Yintin John boat and absolutely leveled it up to where it's one of the most famous mini bass boats on the internet. So naturally, when Tricktins said he was down for another build, I jumped at a chance to pick up a 10-foot John boat from Facebook Marketplace, and thus begins the journey in which you and I will create a new legend. I hold the keys to this storage unit right behind me, and inside is something very, very special. Everyone, thank you so much for 200 subscribers on YouTube. Just kidding, 200,000. It's been such a long awaited moment, and boom, it's successfully off. Drum roll, please. What is behind here? Okay, before I serve you guys more yapperoni and cheese, let me just lay out what we're doing in today's video. Obviously, we first had to check up on the Yintin in case somebody stole it, you know? Then we're gonna introduce you guys to the new project boat. I still don't have an official name for it, so I need y'all's help for that. And lastly, we're gonna drive 2 hours to Virginia Beach to see what Tricktins wants to do with this boat. Come on. Ugh, no way. Oh, the Yintin is doing fine. I've had this thing in a storage unit for forever now, and it's actually kind of expensive to pay for it, not gonna lie. Some of you guys might be new to the channel. We built this thing back when I had like 100,000 subscribers, so like half of what we have today. But this 14-foot John boat was probably one of the most complete builds ever on YouTube. First of all, it has a Garmin Force trolling motor. This thing itself is more expensive than the John boat. Oh, Vanille, hit the button 3 times. Boom. There is this super awesome man, Vanille. He's helping me out today. I'm hiring him for like 3 Senkos a day.
Yeah. Hello guys, hello everybody.
Now Vanille does need a job, so if any of you guys want to hire him, there he is. He just finished his master's degree here in Virginia. He's from India. He really wants to stay in the United States. So guys, please just be praying for him and his job. Vanille, go ahead and open this hatch for me real quick. What do you see?
Oh, these are all baits.
Just looking at everything in here, what does that tell you about my personality?
That you're an avid fisherman, a very knowledgeable one too.
Dude, you're so kind. Yeah. I thought you would have said like, I'm unorganized or something. Let's give you guys a better look at the old Yintin. This thing has gotten heavy. Before Tricktins built it out, ooh, it was the lightest thing ever, but now it's serious. Come on. Finally, it is in better lighting for you guys. Let's just give you guys a quick tour and let's review the condition of our old boat. A lot of you guys thought I sold this thing, which is not what I did, because why would I sell the Yintin? I just had it sitting in a storage unit, and if any of you guys want this thing, let me know in the comments. Over here we have the beautiful Mercury 4-stroke 9.9. This thing has been reliable since day one. Opening up these hatches, we have a MillerTech battery, trash bag for all our trash. As Vanille showed you guys earlier, we got everything ranging from baits to hard baits to these like Spike It Dip and Glows. These are like Sharpies, but you put them on baits and they smell really, really bad. Fishing line, let's go. I'm gonna hop on here. Oh, it is 95 degrees out here. So Vanille and I made sure to both put on a lot of what?
Sunblock.
Inside these cup holders, we do not have cups, but we have all sorts of baits. I'm probably the laziest fisherman out there. Whenever I just like retie something, I just put it in there. Now in here is where it gets a little bit crazier. My hope is in showing you guys the original Yintin, you guys will kind of be inspired for the boat I'm about to show you guys later, the 10-foot boat, the new project. Hey, we got some water in here. Ooh, smells fresh. All right, it's been sitting here for like 5 months. Let's try it. It just tasted like plastic. Oh well, we'll just put it in here. You never know. Emergency supply of water. This is where all these things went. I was wondering where I placed them. You can never have enough baits as a fisherman. Vanille, come up here, my boy. Join me on the Yintin. Oh, looking at such an old build like this just reminds me of how grateful I am. And that actually leads us to the verse of the day, which is from 1 John 4:19. My translation says, We love him because he first loved us. I don't know what y'all's background is and everything, but I just want to let you know that God loves you deeply. He desires to have a relationship with each one of us.
The main camera stopped working because it overheated. Now we are switching to the secondary camera.
Yeah, that's why you always run your GoPros. Bro, I spent a decent amount of money on this thing and it can't even record under the sun. It shows how hot it is to any of you guys iPad kids watching out there. This is the iPad of fishing, which does technically make me an iPad kid, I guess. Anyone want some fresh baits? Because we got some. That's not a good idea. Now I have to clean it up. Oh well, if I just sweep it in there, nobody sees it. Voila! The ultimate compartment that has nothing except for old hats that we found on the river and a life jacket. Oh, I'm losing like 5 pounds of water weight right now. It's sweltering hot. Let's push this thing back in and then we'll go visit the new project boat. I need as much input as possible from you guys for this next build, because without you guys, this whole thing sitting in a storage unit wouldn't be possible. A good lesson to always learn is remember who are the people who make you who you are today. If we go back a year ago, I had a 14-foot John boat, which was basically just plain. I had won this boat in a Catchco competition like 3 years back. And to be honest, me being a big bang fishing person, I wasn't just gonna immediately just start fishing on the boat all the time. So this John boat, which I named the Yinton, kind of just sat in my backyard. That's until my boy Trick Tins, he approached me, he was like, yo, I wanna help you build this thing into one of the coolest mini bass boats on the internet. I'm super glad I had a ton of companies pitch in to help this project come true. Shout out to English Choice, Miller Tech, HydroTurf, the list goes on, and you guys were a huge part of this process. And over the course of 2023, I took this Yinton on so many tournaments. I even won my first one with it, with all the other 20-foot fancy bass boats out there. And there's me on a little 14-foot rig. And I hope this goes to inspire some of you guys to realize that you don't need the most fanciest gear out there. For me, I learned that all I needed was God, motivation, and good people around me to make this dream come true. A year later, English Choice approached me and they were like, hey Ryan, we would love to get you in a bass boat of ours. And I absolutely jumped at the opportunity because for the longest time, I've always just seen on TV and I've seen these big YouTubers rolling around in their giant rigs. I'm like, man, that would be so cool if I can one day ride one of those. And thankfully we were able to acquire what we now know as the Yinton 2.0, my very first bass boat. It's a Tracker 170 that I just cannot be more pleased with. I fished multiple tournaments with it, but have yet to actually win one. However, it's all about the journey you have along with it, not really the final end results. So to everyone watching right now, if you just have an idea on your head and you have no clue how to make it happen, I suggest you pray about it and intentionally work towards it. Don't just wish for it to happen, but to take action and steps that will actually lead you to perhaps just having your crazy ideas come to fruition. Now that I've shown you the Yinton, this might be a little underwhelming, but let me tell you why I'm doing this in the first place. One of my big goals for this year is to catch a world record bluegill. And how am I gonna do that if I just use my Yinton or my Yinton 2.0? Both are very big boats and they have like the most powerful motors on them ever. So I was thinking to myself, I need something simple, something quiet, something low key. So that's why I have this 10-foot boat right here. And I absolutely mean it when I say a man can never have too many boats. Cicadas, quiet down, I'm trying to film a video. Thank you. So this is a project I want a lot of you guys, you big bluegill catchers, to have a ton of input on. Now the issue is we do have some problems. I bought this the other day for $1,000. It wasn't in the best condition. It's just been sitting around for forever. I took one look at it and I felt real bad. So I'm like, I might as well give it a chance. It's also super duper small, so there's a lot of unpredictable natures about it. For example, like how is it gonna handle on the water, especially when it starts blowing out there? But that's what makes this a super challenging and exciting build. I also want to give a big shout out to Kessler Automotive. They're not a sponsor or anything, but they were one of the mechanic shops that were willing to help me out when I picked this thing up. It had a ton of issues. Let me just tell you, this thing came ready to make me lose a lot of money. With all the repairs I put into this, plus the boat itself, I've probably spent $1,200 and we're gonna spend a lot more. This is why for every one of you guys watching this, it's actually helping fund this and pay this. I don't sell merch or nothing. You alone just sitting here is making this possible. Vinny, what are your thoughts? Do you think this build will be a success or a fail?
With the right amount of work put in, it can be a success.
The This is why I love Vanille. He never says anything negative. Oh, have a friend like Vanille, you guys. But how about we start running you guys through the current condition this is in, so then you guys can get some ideas of how I can improve this. And yes, you guys are a crucial part of this build if you didn't know already, because this thing needs our help. It's got a wooden transom, which ain't bad. I mean, this is pretty sturdy. I'm gonna try and put all my weight on this thing, see if it'll hold. 3, 2, 1. Ugh. Okay, I think we're good. We're gonna completely tear this thing up. I mean, it already comes installed with like some lights and some switches, but we ain't need that. I don't know what the previous builder of this boat was thinking. I mean, he didn't do a half bad job. Well, this mat, it's gotta go. Just kidding, we don't litter on this channel. We're not gonna keep this thing. It's heavy, it's unnecessary weight, and why do we need it when Trick Tins is gonna make it so much better? There's like some really adorable PVC rod holders, which, you know, I can see what he's trying to do, the previous owner. This would work, but not for me. Now, one thing I'm super curious about is this front deck, which looks a little bit sketchy. What is this even made of? Oh, nah. Okay, the guy used plywood, which, you know, is what I use for my first boat build, and it's gonna last a little bit, but there's better materials to make it out of. And look at this. Do you see all this steel right here? Yeah, never use steel on aluminum boats, because from what I learned, it rusts like this, and I'm not gonna touch it too much or else I'm gonna get tetanus. And Vanille, we don't want tetanus, do we?
No.
But the dude made 2 of these. So if we were to like take this thing fishing right now, I guess I can put some tackle boxes, maybe my 10-pound bass, some big old bluegill. What is this thing? Dude, do I even touch it? Oh, guys, a battery. Free battery, let's go. Magna power, dude, that might be dangerous if I mess with it so much. I mean, you can see how the guy went ahead and ran some very simple electricals and everything. He didn't do that bad, honestly. Probably way better than I could do. But let's shut that. And I think the moment of truth is we gotta step on this thing. Oh, one thing I love about aluminum is how it flexes. It bends a little bit. So I am 170 pounds for reference. 6 foot tall. Okay, in reality, 5'10". Almost there. I'm still growing, guys. I'm only 21 years old. What you're seeing here today is gonna look totally different in a couple weeks. And this deck right here, this sketchy deck, is it gonna hold my weight? Oh, here we go. If it breaks, it's okay, because we're gonna replace it. Let's jump on this. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it just cracked. It just cracked. Yo. We might not do too much jumping after that. Get up here, bro.
I don't want to risk my life.
Come on, please, please. Vanille, join me. If we sink together, okay?
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Is this stable?
It's creaking a lot, so that's not good.
Vanille, do you think you could fit in there? Do it for the content. No, I'm joking,
We're going to rip this thing apart. It's no good. But you and I, we don't have the skills for it. So Trick Tin's going to do the magic for us. I just noticed this thing. Do you see this? It just came apart. This is like a house of cards, basically. Aye.
It doesn't get the Vanille approval rating?
No. Unfortunately not.
It's really easy to miss, but it looks like the old owner added some lights on here, which also are gonna be going away. You know, at least I hope the guy had some fun with this before he's just abandoned it. You never know what happens in life. Stuff goes down. So I'm very thankful that I am now the entrusted owner of this beautiful vessel. Condition-wise, bottom looks all right. The paint is fresh. I don't see anything that raises too many concerns, which is also a reason why I decided, hey, I'm just gonna buy this thing. It's a gamble, but I'm also risking my life laying down here because at any moment it could just crumble. It's so old. Why do I do this? Vanille, I need your help to get up, bro. Oh, thank you. Ugh. One thing I'm concerned about is this gonna make it all the way to Virginia Beach? We got a 2-hour drive ahead of us. There's gonna be some bad traffic as well.
And Ryan, the most important thing.
What?
Rehydrate yourself.
Oh, thank you, Vanille. Do not forget to drink water. Got a 2-hour drive ahead of us. It is currently 2:40. I told Trick Tins we'll meet him at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. The funniest thing is when I called up Vanille yesterday, I was like, yo, you want to go to the beach? And he was like, oh yeah, sure. And then I was like, and we're gonna film and I gotta drop off a boat and everything. So sorry, I can be a little misleading at times. The AC in this car is only like half working. It's blowing out air, but it's like not cold. I think we're really starting to come full circle because Vanille was actually the one that came with me to pick up this boat the other day. What was it? Today is Friday and we got it on Wednesday, right? So we are going about it quickly. Hey Vanille, when did you come to America?
Last year, in August.
Gotcha. And what is the dream that you currently have?
To get a job and settle down.
Okay.
Yeah, so simple dreams.
Vanille, do you think you'll ever build your own boat one day?
I'm not into boats. I'm into airplanes and cars.
Bro, you just broke my heart 10,000 ways right there.
Why would I need boats when you have a ton, right? You're gonna keep on piling up your boat collection.
Yeah. Oh, that is so true actually. How many boats do you think is enough? Because currently this is 3 for me. Is it overkill if I get another one? Vanille, how does this heat here compare to all the way over in India?
It's kind of the same. It's honestly, it's the same. But I don't know, for some reason I'm sweating a lot.
So if like I go over to India and I do some fishing there, would I be able to survive for a couple days?
Yeah. Yeah.
Vanille, how many times have you fished in India?
0.
Really?
Yeah. I've never gone fishing.
So you're telling me you haven't gone fishing ever until the time I took you fishing with the cane poles?
Yes! See, what did I tell you about? Putting your faith in God. Trust God always. Here's my first fish. What shall I name him? I'm gonna name him Swim Shady.
That is the perfect example of how you guys who love being outdoors take different friends fishing. Take them boating, take them camping. Like, it might blow our mind that there are people in the world who have never gone fishing.
Yeah, I'm an example of it.
You know me, after 1 hour of driving, we need a food break. So we have arrived at Subway. We got 1 more hour left. Plot twist, we did not get Subway because we saw there was some place called like Scrimp Shack. This all started because Vanille turned to me and said, Ryan, I need to use the bathroom. And I was like, okay, fine. So we pulled over and now we got like 30 bucks worth of food. Now we're rehydrating and that's one perk of traveling with me. I will pay for your food. Time to head back on the road. This really makes you appreciate air conditioning, man. Such a luxury to have. You want to unbox our sandwiches? Oh, that's warm. That's toasty. I got the soft shell crab. Yeesh, this thing looks good. Yummy. Check that out. Okay, I should focus on driving. And then I'm gonna go to this light right here. I'll pray for us real quick. Lord, thank you so much just for this food. Let us just continue to have safe travels and let us accomplish your will and be glorifying to you in all things. In Jesus' name, amen. First bite of the soft shell crab sandwich. Here we go. Food review channel time. That's nice. Paid 14 bucks for this, which is kind of pricey, considering a Chick-fil-A sandwich is only like 5 bucks, but this is nice. They loaded it up. I like it. On a scale of 1 through 10, what would you rate it?
This being a fish sandwich, I would definitely rate it an 8.
Whoa. That's high from Vanille. He's a big food critic. This is probably a 10 out of 10, man. Best soft shell crab sandwich I've ever had. Like, the legs are literally sticking out of here. Probably not the cleanest food to eat in a car, but oh well. We absolutely downed those sandwiches. This drive is taking me out. Oh, Vanille and I are already plotting what we're gonna eat next. You know, food is just like so amazing. Which does remind me, we will be doing a whole lot of catch and cooks coming up, and maybe even some largemouth bass. It feels absolutely surreal how just driving a couple hours in your state, the scenery can entirely change. The water over here is so pretty because it's the ocean. and we are officially 7 minutes away from Trick Tins. Vanille and I have been having some nice boy talk with one another, just catching up on life, telling funny past stories. It's crazy because a lot of this wouldn't have fallen into place if certain things didn't happen. For example, I wouldn't have had the crazy idea to drive 1 hour away to just take a risk and look at this one abandoned boat on Facebook Marketplace if my tournament video that I filmed the other day that was supposed to release, it didn't get entirely deleted. For some reason, the SD card decided, hey, guess what? We don't want to like remember this footage anymore. It's absolutely crazy, but it's all good now because I got new SD cards and everything. I spent so much money in the past 10 days. It's unbelievable. Guys, if I stop posting YouTube videos, it's of 2 reasons. Number 1 is pretty obvious. Number 2 is I just ran out of money. But I've been thinking a lot recently about just switching up the content a bit, you know? Because what fun is it just watching me catch 10-pound bass every single video? So what's upcoming is a ton of different, I guess, like survival camping videos, some catch and cooks, even more absurd boat challenges. I'm reinvesting in the channel, guys. In you go. Well, you guys, we made it 2 hours after. We got Matt Downs from Trick Tins. And what are your thoughts when you first saw this 10-foot rig?
It's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Last time we were doing this, it was the smallest boat I've ever built. And you've outdone yourself because this is definitely smaller than the last one that we did. But it looks like it's in pretty decent shape so far at first glance.
And I just wanted to get your thoughts. When you were building the Yintin, how many hours did you put into that build?
Man, that you're taking me back now. But honestly, probably at least 250, 300 hours. It was a lot of work that went into that small boat, but it was pretty intricate. So.
Oh, the window's down. I'll be back. Woo!
Make for good content.
Now, on average, how much would you usually charge as a welder and a fabricator for a build like that?
The Yintin would probably be around $6 grand, considering just the metal work into that boat and the wiring.
And then for anybody out there who wants to kind of do this at home maybe, what are your inspirational words to them?
I would tell you to take your time and definitely do good planning, because that is one thing a lot of people just jump the gun with. They don't plan, and then they get halfway through the build and they realize that they wish they would have done this or they would have done that. And you can't change things, or it's a lot harder to change them once you're that far into the build. But other than that, you know, just take your time and make sure that you use good quality materials that are gonna last, because you don't want to do this twice, trust me.
You know, it's convicting when he said, like, you want to plan it out well. This whole project, this idea, I did not plan it at all. It kind of was a spontaneous thing. Matt, do you want to build another boat?
Yeah, I mean, you're a little different than a lot of the DIY guys at home. He can do things on the spur of a moment because, you know, that's the content life of it.
Right. And he said yes, so I was like, okay. I was just scrolling through Facebook Marketplace very casually, and what do you know? We found this beauty. Now, Matt, just taking a look at our super huge rig, what is kind of an immediate downside and a huge challenge that might be apparent very soon?
I mean, obviously, it's very narrow. It's going to be a lot shakier than the Yintin even. It's a little small for me personally, but it has potential. Don't got a lot of room up front here as far as what you can do with the layout. We're going to optimize the space the best that we can.
To be honest, I feel like if we had a giant boat, like if I brought you like a 20-foot John boat, like that would be fun and all. But when we are forced to kind of have to condense everything into 10 feet, I feel like that's just where we have to get super creative and where the most fun will be.
I agree. 10 foot is definitely a challenge. First 10 foot I've ever built, so it's going to be interesting.
Starting from here, Matt, what do you think are some things that need changing, and what are the upgrades that are coming to it?
Obviously, the first thing that's got to go is all this wood. If you guys know anything about me or watching my videos, we don't do wood. So wood's got to go. That's not going to be there. We're going to have to support this transom depending on what type of motor you want to run, but we'll redo that with some aluminum tubing or some type of framing to make sure this thing's strong enough to handle an outboard.
Let's take a look at one of these things. Matt was telling me that these Nissan, I've never seen a Nissan outboard. This is like a 3 horsepower?
3.5.
Sheesh, that's
Two-stroke.
powerful.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little motor considering that it's only 3.5 horsepower, which this motor is actually, it's a 2-stroke, so it's very lightweight, and it's got the gas can right on the top of it, so you can just fill it up with gas. You don't have to worry about running any hoses into the boat, and considering that this boat is pretty small to begin with, you don't want to lose any space and have to have a gas tank in there. You can use that for something else.
Something where it has a turtle and then a bunny rabbit. I mean, that screams Yintin Mini, which is not the official name just yet. We do want you guys to be a part of this process. I'm just kind of calling it that because, you know, the predecessor was the famous Yintin. Anyways, moving forward, we got this giant gaping space right here. What are we doing with it?
We're going to have to enclose that to give you some type of a deck back here. It really just depends on what all we end up putting into this thing. I don't know how many batteries we're going to have in here. We don't know what kind of trolling motor we're going to have in here yet. I don't even know what color this thing's going to be yet. This is the first time I've seen the boat, and it was just yesterday that he was telling me about this project. So things are moving kind of quick. I haven't really had time to plan.
And that's my bad, because especially with the old Yintin, I at least gave him, what, a week, 2 weeks of notice?
Yeah, at least a week or two.
Yeah, at least a week. But this one, I gave him 2 days. But I'm not really rushed for time, so Matt's just gonna really build this thing out as passionately as he wants. Now I see here that it has a bench seat and already has like one of these seat things, but knowing me, I don't like sitting when I'm fishing. So what are we doing with this seat?
Well, normally what I do with them is just take the foam out of it, use it for storage. I mean, this thing's so small, we're gonna have to use every inch of it for storage. So we're definitely gonna be putting a hatch in here. We're gonna have a big hatch on the back, and we gotta figure out what we're gonna put in these hatches, but at least that's the plan up to this point right here.
Do you think like a rod locker would be overkill?
I think we could put a rod locker in here if you're fishing with one of those little ice fishing rods. Yeah, maybe like the little Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, hey, we need those, we need those.
Other than that, though, yeah, you know, your rod locker might just be on top of the boat.
Now moving to this little space right here, are we thinking this will just be for just the sitting area? What do you think?
I think that you're going to have that floor space in there, especially if you're going to drive with an outboard. You want to sit down and have a place for your legs. But I don't want you to just stand on that floor. So we're going to put some type of a subfloor in there. Build it up just a little bit because that floor is kind of thin.
And what are we thinking as for lights for this thing? What color LEDs should we add in this? Because knowing Matt, if you look at any of the builds on his channel, you will see he just lights them up.
I like the lights. That's one of my things. It's kind of like a trademark. We definitely got to put some lights in here, but it's your boat. I mean, you usually let these guys choose what color it's going to be, so why not let them choose the color of everything?
They're probably going to choose some illegal color or something.
Yeah. You're going to have a pink boat.
Now looking at possibly the most important part of the mini bass boat, we have the front deck.
Yeah, it's a small deck, and someone has put a lot of wood in here. That's pretty cool. I mean, between that and these, you know, it's not gonna take long to rip these out. Look, somebody built this whole thing out of steel, man.
And what do we not do with steel and aluminum?
Yeah, they don't mix very well. Steel doesn't really belong around water, period, because it's gonna rust, and it's heavy, and those are two things that you definitely don't want to have in any boat, especially on a boat this size, is anything that's gonna be heavy, because you don't really have much of a weight capacity. Weight capacity is 280 pounds, and you know, by the time you put a man and some tackle in there, especially if you got a motor, you're gonna be cutting pretty close.
Oh, the deck comes off. No, ow.
Oh, watch your head.
No way. All right.
Oh, that's pretty simple.
Here it begins. Boom, it's a whole nother beast already. Oh, that gives us a really good look into what we can do.
I think it looks better already. You got a nice little battery that came with it.
I know.
No, that's for a lawnmower. You got a little lawnmower battery in there.
If any of you guys need a new battery for cutting grass, hit me up.
We do have this trolling motor over here I've been saving just for this whole occasion. I knew you were coming.
Right.
But it's a pretty cool little trolling motor. I hadn't even seen one of these, but.
How would one strap this up?
We're probably gonna have to build you a bracket for it, but
Probably.
just for the sake of hanging it up here, it might fit up there. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You get the picture. And it's pretty cool because it does have the foot pedal. Just doesn't have the whole assembly to flip it in and out of the boat.
You know, something that makes this build super special is we're actually balling on a huge budget. Last time, as you guys probably know, we went a little overkill with all electronics and everything we added. For example, the live scope was itself way more expensive than the whole boat, and the trolling motor was like 2 times more expensive than the John boat. But this is more realistic for your everyday build, and you know, going back to simplicity is something I really enjoy.
I agree. I think that this is going to be a small project, and you know, you can keep the budget down a little bit with it. But you know me, I can't make it too plain. You didn't come to me to put some gray carpet and paint this thing green. It's got to be a Fisher Yin boat.
I already told everyone earlier, I want to catch my PB bluegill out of this thing, including a world record bluegill, because why not? We might as well throw that in there.
I think this thing could easily land a 105-pound bluegill. I don't think you'll have any problems at all with that.
I like where his head is. I like it. I like it.
This thing's got flies in it, man.
Oh, does it? Sheesh.
It's like a horse mat back here. I think they had some horse poop in there.
Oh, man. We got all sorts of animals in here already. Hey, you know what? That's some bluegill bait right there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It smells like there's a bluegill down there. Well, you got some, you know, switch panel in here. Obviously, you ain't got no batteries in here, but somebody actually rigged this thing up pretty decent. It's only like a little conduit and everything. It's nice and fancy. Obviously, we're not going to use any of that. I just thought it was cool for a 10-foot boat that somebody actually spent the time to run all that stuff in there for you. Look, I can almost touch both ends of it.
Whoa. Now, to be fair, you're like 7 foot tall.
Yeah, I'm 6'6", so I got a long wingspan, but...
Oh, yeah. You know what would be really cool? For me to bring out all 3 of my boats at once on the same lake. And so I'll catch a fish on the bass boat, then I'll move to the Yinton, then I will nap on this one. Can we like add in like some speakers and some movie theater stuff, maybe even a popcorn maker?
This sounded like, this started as a budget build, and now it's turning into a luxury build.
Vinil was looking at himself.
He just recorded selfie cam.
I love it. That's going in the video, Vinil. Vinil is a good-looking gentleman. He should go on like Hollywood or something. Now this trailer, I think it's just a little too big for a boat of this size. What are we gonna do with this?
We're gonna have to shorten this thing. It's kind of weird the way this thing's built. If you look at it, it's welded together. This is 2 pieces of like 1x3 tube. Normally they just make this out of a 2x3. I guess it's stronger like that, but I've never seen one like that. This thing's probably older than you are, I would imagine.
Overall, there's not much to say about this right now, but I promise you, in a couple weeks when we return, we're gonna see Matt just absolutely cook with this thing. But in the meantime, on his channel, he documents the entire process week by week, drops these videos, and I'm just like watching them. I'm like, wow, this is so fun. When you do something, you're like, okay, I don't want to watch other people do it that much, but I watch all of his videos from beginning to end. It's gonna be so fun. Vinil. What?